Welcome back to Dash Explore. I'm Sarah, and I am so excited to be back to share even more of our Switzerland trip by sharing our 5-day Jungfrau Region itinerary in just 5 minutes. We are going to be redashing or recapping all of our adventures from the Jungfrau Region, and let me tell you, there are so many things that I still can't believe we got to do. So make sure to grab a pen and paper or your phone or somewhere where you can take some notes, because there are definitely some adventures you're going to want to check out with your family. Now, I know you are probably a busy parent or caregiver who is getting ready to plan this trip, so I am going through this itinerary as quickly as I can and keeping it as close to 5 minutes as I can. We really did do a lot. So I might glaze over some details, and if there's anything that I missed, please make sure you drop a comment down below. I'm happy to share any of our experiences or anything that we learned so that I can help you make your trip as easy and as seamless as possible. I know that the Jungfrau Region and Switzerland and all the travel passes and all the things can feel super overwhelming. Trust me, we were just there. You are not alone. So if there's anything I can do to help, please feel free to reach out. So with that, let's jump into our 5 days in the Jungfrau Region of Switzerland in just 5 minutes. We started our first day in Lucerne, where we packed up and headed out to the train station to make our way to the Jungfrau Region. After 2.5 hours on the trains, we made our way to the town of Wengen, where we would be staying, and we were honestly pretty disappointed that the weather was so foggy. You will find that this is a common theme on this trip, and I will try to avoid sharing more of our disappointment as we continue through this, but it was real foggy on our trip. After getting off the train in the town square, we made our way to our apartment, which was a short walk and a long flight of stairs from the town center. The girls were so excited about all the mountain playgrounds that they immediately wanted to go and play, so after settling in for a minute, we got our warm clothes on and headed to our first cable car ride. The Mannlichen playground is just about a 6-minute ride from Wengen, and the girls were so excited to be on the first cable car, especially one that went up into the clouds. Although the spooky vibes were cool, the weather was not great up in the mountains, so we didn't stay for too long, but it was so cool to finally be in the spot we've been dreaming of visiting with our kids for almost 5 years now. We didn't have a ton of time up there anyways, because the last cable car back to Wengen was at 5:15, so we played for about 30 minutes and then headed back to Wengen to do some souvenir shopping and get some groceries to make a home-cooked meal. We settled into our apartment after a long day of travel, enjoyed our meal together as a family, and then checked in for the night so we could enjoy our first full day of adventures in the morning. Now, I'm going to pause this one more time to give you a quick tip, because something that we did going into this trip was plan out day adventures. So we knew we wanted to go from Wengen to Lauterbrunnen to Mürren to Grindelwald, then back. And so we had kind of day itineraries or things that made sense geographically. And I'm glad that we didn't have to purchase any specific tickets that were for a specific day or time, because like I've already said, the weather was really foggy. So the night before every night of our adventure, we decided which of the daily itineraries we were going to do based on the weather to the place that we were going to go and whether or not things were open. So we kind of made decisions on the fly every day throughout the trip. And from what I've read online about Switzerland and the weather since getting home from our trip, the weather can be really varied. And because we are in the mountains, the valleys and the mountains can all be different weathers. So I highly recommend being as flexible as you can on this trip and not committing to doing a certain activity on a certain day, because you may need to pivot. And that's something that worked out really well for us. So just wanted to hop in and share that quick tip. So let's jump back into our Jungfrau Region recap. We got our day started at 8:30 the next morning and got everyone dressed and ready to go. We made our way to town so that we could catch the train from Wengen to Lauterbrunnen. From there, we walked through the town and found a cafe for coffee and breakfast. We then walked through the town, taking in the mountain sights and waterfalls along the way. Then we arrived at our first true adventure of the trip, an alpaca farm. I found out about this place on Facebook about a week before our trip, and I am so glad that I did. We got to pet and feed the alpacas, take as many pictures as we wanted, and it was amazing. They were so sweet and silly, and this was a big trip highlight for Haley. After getting our fill of alpaca cuddles, we left the farm and walked to the bus stop to make our way over to the cable cars at Stechelberg, where we rode up to Mürren. We had another spooky, foggy walk through town to find the funicular that would take us up to the Almendhubel Alpen Playground, or the Flower Playground. The girls had so much fun playing on this playground, and we even got 2 minutes of a break in the clouds to catch a little bit of the view. After playing for about an hour, everyone was getting hungry, so we took the funicular back down the mountain and then got on a different cable car to Grindelwald. The Mountain Hostel restaurant had been recommended to us before we came, and it did not disappoint. The views were beautiful and the food was delicious. Oh, and so was the hot chocolate. After a quick stop at yet another playground, we took a cable car back down to Stechelberg and then took the bus back to the train station in Lauterbrunnen, where we took a train back up to Wengen. We had another lazy night in our apartment, but also got some laundry done so we could make it through the rest of our trip. Although we woke up to another cloudy morning, we got up, got dressed, and set out for another day of adventure. Before we left though, we had to check out the Wengen marble runs, which are such a fun and interactive things for kids to do around town. Then we took the cable car back up to Mannlichen and then another 20-minute long cable car ride into Grindelwald. This ride was so cool, and it was so amazing to descend down from the clouds into this cute little Swiss village. Once we arrived in Grindelwald, we got on a bus to take us to Pfingsteg. From here, we took another cable car up the mountain to ride a mountain coaster. This was something that Haley and Andrew learned about before our trip, and we had so much fun. After a couple of trips on the mountain coaster, and of course playing on another playground, we headed back down the mountain to find somewhere to eat for lunch. We took the bus back to the main center of Grindelwald and found a restaurant where we could try fondue. It was so warm and cozy, and we had a beautiful view from our table. It was exactly what we were looking for, and we we all had a wonderful time. Then we needed to play on one more playground before heading back to Wengen. And we also stopped in a chocolate shop and grabbed some Swiss chocolate to enjoy on our cable car ride back home. However, when we arrived in Mannlichen, we did need to stop and play on the cow playground for a few minutes and enjoy the fact that it was snowing. After riding the cable car back to Wengen, we decided to try and do some more of the marble runs, so we walked around the town to check those out and even saw some sheep along the way. At this point, we were all so exhausted, we grabbed some sandwiches from the grocery store and then headed back to our apartment for dinner and bed. We woke up on our last full day in the mountains and headed into town to get some breakfast before taking the train down to Interlaken. The weather in Interlaken was beautiful, and we definitely made sure to appreciate all the views throughout the day. We walked from the train station through town and then decided to take the funicular up to Hartholm, a restaurant with an incredible panoramic view of Interlaken. It was close to lunchtime by the time we made it to the top, so we decided to just grab a table and enjoy another Swiss meal, especially since the views were incredible. After enjoying our lunch, we went over to the panoramic lookout spot to look at both Lake Thun and Lake Brienz, and of course, get some family pictures. Then, what day could be complete without some time to play on the playground? The views and the weather were just so perfect that we stayed here for far longer than I expected, and I don't think anyone has any regrets. Around 2:30, we decided it was time to make our way back to the funicular and check out some of the other things in Interlaken. Once back in the city, we went to the Alpine Wildlife Reserve to see some ibex in person, which was so cool. And then we started to make our way back to the train station since we knew we had a little bit of a ride ahead of us. We took the train back to Lauterbrunnen, took a quick pit stop to get some souvenirs that we didn't get during our time there the other day, and then returned to Wengen for dinner and to begin packing up our apartment to leave the next morning. We woke up on our last morning in Wengen to beautiful, clear skies and the views that we had been waiting for during our whole trip. We made a last-minute pivot and decided to go back up to the cow playground in Mannlichen one last time because we could see the weather had cleared and we knew we had to check it out. We rode up to the top, and not only did we get to see the incredible mountain views, but we also got to play in the snow. The girls made a snowman, we got to play on some of the trampolines, and then we soaked up as much of the mountain views as we could before it naturally got foggy again and all the views disappeared. This was our last adventure in the Jungfrau region, and although it was short, we are so glad that we did it. Wow, I still cannot believe how much we did during our time in the Jungfrau region. There are so many different little villages, so many different adventures, so many mountain adventures, just so many different things that you can do and explore, and I hope that maybe you got a couple of ideas for you and your family on your upcoming trip to the Jungfrau region. Thank you so much for watching this video today, and if you have any questions about any of the things that we did, any of the travel passes that we have, any of the playgrounds we explored, or the foods we tried, please leave us a comment below. I know there is a lot to learn about traveling in Switzerland, so if you have any questions at all, please feel free to drop that comment down below and we will do our best to help you. And if you know anyone else that is considering planning their own trip to Switzerland, make sure you share this video because hopefully it will help someone else get out there and travel with their kids and explore this beautiful, beautiful country. And we also have one more stop on this Swiss adventure, so if you want to make sure to follow along for that video, please make sure you hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so that you can get notified when we post new videos. Thank you so much for watching this video today, and we will catch you in the next one.